Employees are one of company's biggest assets, and their performance has a major impact on your bottom line. However, simply hiring skilled employees isn't enough. How your business leader manage them can greatly impact a company's overall performance. And for this, we need people's manager. Through this course, we will understand the process of people management. People management is the practice of hiring, mentoring, involving, and securing employees in order to maximize their skill and efficiency. So, if you want to learn more about it, put on your thinking hats and let's get started with this session on people management. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new update or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video for any query or suggestions and I will respond to your comments.
People management has become a key factor or a main objective of business owners or managers of an organization. You need to understand that people or the employees of an organization is the pillars of an organization which makes the foundation firm, right? So, with that note in your mind, I am Edwin Thomas and today we are going to have a course and we'll be discussing a lot more topics which is coming under people management, and this is offered to you by Great Learning. So, before directly jumping into the topics, let's first understand what are the learning objectives or the agenda or the course takeaways from this course. Right. So, we'll be first starting by understanding what is people management, under which we'll be discussing first what exactly is management, and then we'll further move ahead and understand what is the meaning of people management. Moving ahead, we'll be learning the key components of people management. So basically here we'll be discussing 5 key components that would actually help managers understand and also help them increase the productivity of the people who is working under any similar project. Now, coming to the third module, that is people management skills. So basically here, under this topic, we'll be discussing the skills that will be required for a manager to implement the good people management amongst the teams or the groups of the organization. So these skills, as a manager, he must have to inculcate in him or he must have to build in him so that his teams work more efficiently and happily throughout their working life, right? So people management skill is one of the most important topics that we'll be covering in this module. Now, coming to the fourth module, that is why is people management important? So basically, we are discussing a topic on people management, or we are having a course on people management, and we need to understand, right, what is the importance or why is it that people management is really important for an organization to sustain in this market. So, under this topic, we'll be exactly discussing this point, that is why people management is so crucial for business organization to increase the efficiency and the productivity of the company. And finally, we'll be discussing how to be a people's leader. Now, here it's a pure content for people who are aspiring to be into the management roles. So basically here we'll be discussing how to be a people's leader, what are the key differentiating factors that is between a manager and a leader. So here we'll be discussing those points and making you understand why a leader is more successful than a manager, right? So we'll be discussing exactly those points. And in the summary part of this session, we'll be discussing some few caselets which actually tells you how people management is helping people to have a happy community inside a company. So, without any further ado, let's begin with the course. Alright guys, so now let's get started with the course. So the first question that we have on our screen is, what is people management? Now, before we understand what is people management, let's first understand what exactly is management, right? So, what is the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear the term management? I'm pretty much sure that it is something that is related to managing some activity or a project, right? Exactly. So management is basically getting involved in increasing the productivity or efficiency of any process or task that is to be completed. That is in simple words, right? Now let's read the definition. Management is the process of organizing and arranging a company's resources and operations in the most effective and efficient way possible in order to achieve specific goals. Now let's further read the definition, and then I will give you a proper example within which you can resonate the example with the definition, right? Now, coming to the second part of the definition, that is efficiency in management, refers to completing tasks correctly and at a minimal cost. So basically, they are bringing in the cost factor here. Now, a measure of managerial effectiveness is the ability to complete tasks on time and deliver concrete results. So here they are talking about how do we measure the managerial effectiveness, that is by completing the task on time and delivering concrete result. Now, let's if you guys have understood the definition, well and good. Now I will tell you the definition along with an example, right? Now consider yourself to be a business owner and you are having a pencil manufacturing company, right? Let's read the definition first. Management is the process of organizing and arranging a company's resources and operations in the most effective and efficient way possible in order to achieve the specific goals. So, being a pencil manufacturing company, your specific goal will be to increase your production of your pencils and increase the sales of the pencils as well in order to generate revenue, right? So that is the most important goal as a pencil manufacturing company you will have. Now, where does management come into the picture? So basically, management comes into the picture in organizing and arranging the company's resources. So basically, company's resources could be human resources or non-human resources. Now, when you talk about human resources, it's basically the people who is required to work, right? And coming to non-human resources, it might be the raw material that is required to make the pencil, that is lead wood, or the machineries that is required, or the cardboard manufacture the cardboards that is required for packaging. Now there is one more critical factor that is coming into picture, that is companies resources and operations in the most effective and efficient way possible. Now, being a pencil manufacturing company, you could make the pencil with only the people, or you can do the packaging of the pencil with the people. Now, being a good manager, you might inculcate a machinery or for creating the pencil or for manufacturing the pencil, or also a machinery for the packaging purposes. So that's how the operations, how you quickly make the pencil and package it. That is the operation. And another operation is the transfer of pencil to the retail stores. So these all comes into picture. Now, another main topic of managing resources is the selling. So basically, you need to market these products into the to the public's eyes, right? So there's where people, the marketing team comes into picture. Then the finance team comes into the picture for actually telling us what amount of sales is getting to our company, what is the revenue, what is the profit. So all these people who work on this pencil, and from the manufacture and to the selling, is all it's all need to be managed, and that's where management comes into the picture. Now, management can be done in any way, like it could be productive or non-productive. So a good management is the efficiency in the that refers to completing the task correctly at minimal cost. So the cost factor is what you know. Like you need to complete the operations, or that is manufacturing the product, packaging the product, and transporting it to the retail stores. You need to make it at as minimum as possible. Only then you can get a good amount of profit out of it. So that's how you actually when a good management is sitting in an organization, they try to reduce the manufacturing or the operational costs so that they could earn good profit. Now, the effectiveness. How do you measure the effectiveness? So, managerial effectiveness is the ability to complete the tasks on time and deliver concrete results. So, basically, completing the task is that if you have a bulk order from a company that is required, that has asked you for a bulk order of huge amount of pencils, you the managerial effectiveness is calculated by how well do you manage this big bulk order at the time when it is being placed, like whether do you complete the order or before the deadline or on time, or it's getting delayed or overdue. So that is how the managerial effectiveness is measured, right? So with that, delivering concrete results. So basically results would be based on the amount of sales that is coming to the organization, and that will be the measure of the management's effectiveness. All right. So now that you have understood what is management, let's move ahead and understand what is people management. People management, as the name implies, is just managing people. That is, appears to be about managing people in workplace, right? Now, ensuring that they are well cared for and have all that they require to complete their tasks. So that is also something that comes under people management. So you need to be in the radar, and you need to understand people are well cared of and they have all the resources that is required to complete their tasks fast. So that's what is people management. Now, people management is the process of inspiring, managing, and training personnel in order to increase workplace productivity and encourage professional development. So another factor that comes into people management is inspiring the people to strive to work hard, creating a happy community, managing, training the personnel in order to upskill the person who is working for your organization, and increasing the productivity and encouraging the professional development. So this is the another side of people management. Now, people management was utilized by the workplace leaders such as team leads, supervisors, the department heads to control the workflow and increase the employee performance on a daily basis. So, people management for you, it's like if you are aspiring to go into a managerial role, for example, in an organization, it could be a team lead, it could be a supervisor or the department head, or a senior manager or a managerial post, assistant manager, general manager. These kinds of the people who needs to be very well know about how to manage people, or they must possess these people management skill in themselves so that they could increase the employee performance on a daily basis. So I hope you guys have understood what is people management, what is the definition of people management, and what happens actually among a manager and a normal worker or an employee which who is working on a similar project or a goal that is assigned to him. So let's move ahead with the next topic. All right, guys. So now let's come to the key components of people management. Now, in the key components, we have five key components that are create, comprehend, communicate, collaborate, and confront. Now, let's understand each of these key components individually. Right. So now coming to the first key component, that is create. Now, creating a workforce that contributes to a brighter future. As a manager, managing a team, you should always think in the perspective that the workforce would contribute to a brighter future. Now, in order to create this good team, you need to build effective teams. Now, how do you build effective teams? So that is where the activities like team bonding and a lot of other activities wherein the team is actually led to bond with each other, understand themselves and what are their goals and motives in the organization and what are their futures. So the team bonding becomes very well. And when team bonds very well, they are very much answerable to each other wherein there are deadlines to be completed. So this is how you create a bond amongst the team and you create a very good and effective team amongst your organization. So when you have a very good effective team that is working on any single project or any group of tasks, the effectiveness or the efficiency of the task getting finished quicker increases. So that's how creating that is building effective team is one important feature in creating the workforce of a brighter future. Now, choosing the right recruitment. Now, building effective team is another part, but choosing the right recruitment is another key factor that plays an important role. Now, you need to understand that during the recruitment process, you need to find the right attitude of any good candidate. He might be a really very talented and an intellect person, but the attitude towards the organization and the offerings that he would bring into the team would actually matter a lot, because a person with a good attitude will definitely create an impact in the team rather than providing a person with a bad attitude but very very intellect creating a negative energy amongst the team. So you need to be very precise when choosing the right recruitment. Now, coming to the third point, that is purpose for each team and every member. Now, as a manager, you need to give the purpose for each team. Every team that is working for any particular project or a particular goal, you need to make them understand or make the team understand that this is the particular goal or purpose that you're working for, and every team member must have a particular purpose and a goal that they are working for. So when they have a particular goal in their mind, they can understand that what are they pointing to and what are they trying to achieve for, right? So and the goal is clear regarding a single project, the people will strive and work hard more to achieve the goal in a faster and a quicker and an efficient manner. That's what is third point that is telling us. Now, training and helping them evolve in their skill set. Now, being a manager, you should always help him upskilling the training and helping your team members or their colleagues who are subordinates who needs the helps to evolve in their skill set. So if you try to indulge in their career in making, they would always work for you in the most efficient manner, because they have an understanding that as a manager he is taking care of my career for my future benefits, right? So with that loyalty, he will be working very well in order to complete the project. So that's the 4 points that we discussed in creating a workforce that contributes for a brighter future. Now, moving to the second key point, that is comprehend a deeper grasp of the present and the future. Understanding the personalities, motivation, and the personal and professional aspiration of people who make up the organization. This is one is a very critical point, because when you understand a person and his motivation and his personal and professional aspiration, you are bonding with him very well. As a manager, when you bond with the person very well, you understand what is he looking for, how does he want to work in the organization, and how does it makes it how does the employee feel happy, and which are the ways that he can work which makes him happy personally, and he can work satisfiedly in the organization. So understanding the personality of the team, of the individual member of the team, is a very key factor that could actually help the manager understand what are his motivations and personal aspirations regarding his career. Now, it's critical to recognize that the persons differ in terms of personality traits and skill. it's obvious that each and every person is unique. You are unique in one way, and I am unique in a different way. I might have personality traits that differ completely with respect to yours. And also coming to skills, each and every person brings different skills onto the plate. And as a manager, you need to understand what are the skills and the personality traits that he is offering into the team, so that there would be no conflict amongst the team members to pursue any single particular project. So that's why it's critical to recognize that the persons with different skills and personality traits. Now, coming to the third point, that is empathy. Empathy, active listening, and a people first attitude helps individual understand one another better. Now, empathy is an emotional connection between the people who empathizes or feels the other person were in their shoes, right? So now that's one thing that is coming into team building or team bonding. Active listening and a people first attitudes helps individuals understand one another. When the team is understanding each other very rapidly and the bond is creating very well, only then you can actually have a deeper grasp of the present and what is the future, how the future projects will be handled. So, team bonding, empathy, active listening is also a very key important factor. Now, coming to the third key point, that is key component, that is communicate. Open pathways for successful communication. Now, open channels of communication and channels to provide feedback. The communication between a manager, the team members must be crystal clear, and also the team members must have a proper feedback mechanism so that the manager can understand what all things can be improved in any team meetings or any tasks or projects that they are working on. So there must be a proper channel of communication, and also there must be a channel of proper feedback wherein his subordinates could write in the feedback, and as a manager he could self introspect and create more changes to the processes that he has been following, right? Now employee needs to have a larger picture of what they are a part of. So this is one very important point, that each and every manager needs to understand that the employee might be working on a single particular small objective, but you need to make him understand that that particular small objective is creating a bigger impact on the goals of the organization. Right, it might be creating a small project on any small relevant thing, but it might be helping a bigger audience and impacting a bigger audience in a different way. So you need to always provide the larger picture to the employee so that he can understand what he has to or he is offering to impact the larger audience, right? Now, coming to the third point, that is communicate clearly on what are their strengths and weaknesses and motivate them to improve upon them. So basically, this is a conversation between the subordinates and the manager, wherein also it can be a conversation between a team and a manager. So basically, in the team, there might be some strengths and there might be some weaknesses. So as a manager, he needs to communicate very clearly that these are the strengths of our team and we need to maintain and improve the strengths, and also these are the weaknesses that we need to improve so as to improve the efficiency of the project. So this is applicable to even the team member. Even the team member might have certain personality traits and skills that he comes in with, right? So he might be very helpful in certain particular skill but be weak in some other skill. So you need to make him understand that this is your strengths and you can kill it in this department, but you need to improve your weaknesses so as to improve the efficiency of the project that you're working on. So the feedback must be proper and clear amongst the manager, the team, and also the individual member. Now, coming to the fourth key component, that is collaborate, working together smarter, quicker, and more effectively. That is the tag. Now, acknowledging that the work cannot happen in silos. So, what do you mean by silos? This is solitary. Basically, you need to understand that work cannot happen in individual like in an individual level. Even if it's an individual level of a project, there are some aspects like non-human thing, like a software or a machinery that is coming into the picture that is provided by the company. So you're indirectly getting help. It's not always happening in silos or in solitary mode. So now another thing that you need to understand is that success is a team function, and so is failure. Now, blaming a person or appreciating a single person for the success is easy. So, success is not a individual achievement, it's a team achievement that a team has been able to get out of it, right? So they are successful as a team. And if something has failed, the team has failed, not any. It's easy to blame a single person. So collaboration amongst the team members is a very important factor that will actually impact the efficiency and the positivity of in a group. Now, individual needs to be assigned responsibilities that they can step up to and achieve with effective team collaboration. And now, as a manager, you need to analyze and understand individuals that can be assigned these particular tasks, and how much of amount of work can be assigned to them, and how much he can step up to. Right. So with that understanding, we can actually achieve a lot more goals and project when the team is working in a collaboration. Right. Now, helping and upskilling together as a team. So as a team, it's always required that you need to collaborate, you need to help each other and upskill together as a team, so that in the future, if anyone has any issues and he is not able to continue with the work, the other person can be a substitute and keep the project running. So this way, the collaboration amongst the team is a very key factor in people management. Now, coming to the last point, that is confront. Confront meaning maximizing the benefits of healthy differences. Now, people are different in order to set a tone for respect, loyalty, and other commitment with the organization. So basically, people within the difference in the generation, they might be different in thought, the working preferences, and taking actions as well. So people perceive different things and engage with issues with diversity as well. So this is how confronting, that is maximizing and using the benefits of a healthy differences, help in creating good outcome from the team. Now, resolving conflict is also a very important part of people management, since it can either lead to resentment or negativity. Now, you should actually, as a people manager, if there is a conflict that is happening, you need to resolve it, because if the conflict is not resolved, it will lead to some resentment and negativity. Now, if the conflict is resolved, it will actually strengthen and give belief to the team members that the manager is taking his stand or his call on the particular incident that has taken place. So that's another key important point that comes under people management. So by now, I am very much sure that you have understood the five key components of people management. All right, guys. So now that you have understood the five key components of people management, now let's move a step further and understand what are the people management skills that you will have to inculcate in yourself to be a better people's manager. Now, if you are planning to move into a managerial role, or if you have a vision that you will be getting promoted in your upcoming years into a managerial position or a senior managerial position or a team lead position, it is obvious that you will have to look into people or manage people under you or make people work for you in particular projects, right? So there is where and there is when people management skills comes into picture. Now, in In this module, we'll be discussing the most important people management skills that you will have to have in yourself in order to make your team work efficiently and in a productive manner. Now, it's not necessary that all these skills will be inside you, right? You can even develop these skills slowly, and when you are actually fit for all these skills and you're getting promoted to a managerial role, it will be a very easy process for you to manage a team, right? So let's get started with the skills that will actually improve your people management productivity, right? Now, the first skill that we are talking about here is good communication. Right. Now, this is one of the most important, and now it's become one of the most basic necessity for every organization, that the person who is getting hired needs to have a good communication. Now, there is a saying also that a leader is as good as his communication, right? So basically, here, a leader or a manager actually have to have a clear idea of what he wants to communicate to the team, and he should be communicating in a very articulate way so that each and every team member in his team is able to understand and cope up to the prediction or the projections of the projects that he is talking about. So he needs to create a proper communication channel through which his team members can communicate to him in an open, free environment and a easy manner. Now, coming to the second thing, that is patience and active listening. Now, as a team manager, you might have a lot of things to work upon, but you should also uh, get some time to be patient and listen actively to the feedbacks that your team members or the team is providing regarding any particular project. So those feedbacks might be really useful if you actually implement those feedbacks, and it can also increase the productivity and efficiency of the project getting completed faster. So patience and active listening is also a very important skill that you should inculcate in yourself to be a good people's manager. Now, another thing is problem solving skill. So there will be many problems that will arise when you are actually handling a team under you, right? So there might be there might be conflicts, might be different opinions of people that comes up regarding a particular issue that needs to be solved, and these all things are problem solving skills. And there are also some problems wherein the manager needs to understand how the team needs to navigate or maneuver itself so as to crack the problem. So problem solving skill is one important skill that as a people's manager should possess or should build in himself. Now, coming to the fourth point, that is trust, honesty, accountability, empathy. Now, these four things are a must in any senior manager or a team lead's personality, because trust is something that each and everyone wants a team manager to be trustful and also honest and also accountable to what all decisions that he has taken. And also, as a manager, he needs to empathize amongst the team members and the entire team as well. So this is some skill that as a manager he needs to showcase to the team so that the team is well bonded and works and strives harder to achieve the goal. Now, coming to the next point, that is positivity and flexibility. So as a team manager, he should always create the positive energy amongst the team. He should provide that positive vibes in the team so that the team is does not have any negative energy that reduces the strength of the team. Instead, he should always be positive and give credit to the people and credit to the team so for the achievements that they have actually achieved, right? And coming to the flexibility part, so basically when you are handling a team, there might be a few instances wherein some of the few members might have to urgently move out of the team for some time because of their personal issues. So you should always have a plan that is always stable, so that if there is any randomness amongst the team, other team members can occupy or dilute or observe those randomness that is getting occurred, and complete the project in a very smooth manner, right? So flexibility is something that a manager needs to plan within the team. Now, coming to ability to motivate and give credit where the credit is due. Now, you might have heard like a person doesn't leave a job because of his company, because the company is bad. He might leave a job because most of the times the manager is not giving the credit. So that's where a manager needs to understand that he should give the credit where the credit is due. He needs to appreciate the employee where he has done a good amount of effort to complete the task, and the ability to motivate that person to go even higher is something that a manager should always possess in himself. Because when he has a team of members, if he has a 10 to 15 team of members, if he is able to motivate each and every one of them to achieve that particular task, then the team will be so productive that the tasks and the projects that are assigned to them get easily solved, and the efficiency becomes very, very high, right? So that's a very important thing that a manager should always do, that is ability to motivate and give credit where the credit is due. Now, coming to the next point, that is conflict resolution. So basically, when you're working in a team, there will be conflicts that is happening, and as a manager, you need to take a stand and understand which side is which party is actually right, and give reasons to it, so that the other party could understand why is the A party the decision right, and why is the B party's decision wrong. So when you give the stand and opinion on taking a stand, it would actually strengthen the belief of your team members on you as a manager, that he is actually taking a call on this resolution, and this is giving them belief that in future, if there is any conflicts that is happening, he is the one that we could approach to. So conflict resolution is a very must skill that a people manager must have. Now, coming to managing by performance. So basically, managing by performance is people might have different performance scales. Like people perform differently, they come up with different skill sets and different personality traits that we discussed earlier. So you need to understand that you need to manage, like if it's a fresher and if it's an experienced person, the managing by performance makes a sense, right? An experienced person is already well polished, and now when you're talking to a fresher, he is not that very polished person. So as a manager, the hand holding must be more towards the fresher, so that he could increase his performance, and then he could cope up with the other members or the colleagues in the team. Now, coming to the second last point, that is planning and mentoring. Now, planning and mentoring is something that almost all the team leads, so the supervisors or the managers must always do on a regular basis, because mentoring is for the betterness or the betterment of the subordinates who is working for you, right? So you need to take an extra efforts to mentor and then plan the career development for your subordinates who is working for you. So mentoring is a really important factor, because when you are mentoring your subordinates, they get attached to you, and in a personal level, and understand that as a manager and also as a colleague and as a well-wisher, he is mentoring me for my career development. So there will be that very good bond amongst the manager and the colleague, so that there is a personal care that is being given to him regarding the mentoring for his career development. So So with that thing in his mind, he would strive and work more harder to achieve his goals. Now, the last and the most important thing is feedback giving and receiving. As a manager, you should be blunt in giving feedbacks and also receiving them as well. Now, giving feedbacks is for the development of the particular employee and the team, and receiving is for your personal development. So it must be always a give and take resolutions that the feedbacks must have. So you should give what are their strengths and weaknesses. You should provide a good feedback regarding the team and the individual members of the team. You should provide a good feedback, and also you can take feedbacks in an anonymous way so that they could be honest and blunt to you, that were and all you as a manager can improve for a better management of the projects, right? So this is the most these are the skills that we discuss, that every manager must have to possess in himself to be a very good people's manager. All right, guys. So we have discussed a lot about people management, but we didn't discuss what is the importance of people management, right? So here we'll be discussing what is the importance of people management. The first point that is on bold, that is, it influences productivity via its impact on staff morale and motivation. That is the exact reason, or the pinpoint reason, that people management is very important. That it influences the productivity and the impact of staff morale and motivation. Now, when your staff morale, and if your staffs are motivated enough, it indirectly or directly influences the productivity, and that's what each and every business wants to happen in their business organizations, right? Now, let's talk about the importance of people management and what all it can avoid. So now I'm telling why management is important and what are the things that can be avoided when the people management is the strength and core in a people's manager, right? Now, the low productivity due to disorganization or poor optimization of resources. Now, when you're talking about this, when the people's management is really bad, there will be really bad productivity because of the disorganization and the pure optimization of the resource. Now, resources could be human, non-human. Now, when you're talking about people management, is most basically focusing the human resources. So when the organization, and when you're not giving proper feedback, it is getting disorganized, and that's why the productivity is decreasing. Now, workflow errors because of poor communication. Now, when there is proper people's management, the communication is what we discussed in our earlier modules, that communication is very much clear, and there should be open channels so that the proper communication flow happens. So when there is proper communication flow, these workflow errors because of the poor communication can be avoided. So that's another important point. Now, employees and teams being ill-equipped to deal with the challenges. Now, if you have a proper people's management channel, the employees or the subordinates could easily communicate to the manager that these are the things that we are facing the problems, and we aren't equipped with the software or the hardware that is required to complete this particular task or project. So this can be easily communicated if there is proper people management. Now, when it's not there, they'll just have to be there will be unproductivity, and they would be just like this. We are ill equipped to deal with the challenges that has been provided to us. Now, coming to the next one, that is unresolved or ongoing conflict between the employees. Now, as the people management is good, the conflict resolution is also nice. Now, when there is poor people management, there will be definitely unresolved conflicts that is happening among the employees, and that would definitely create some negative energy in between the teams or in between the specific individuals in the organization, and that's a really bad sign for any business organization. Now, coming to high employee turnover rates. Now, if you have a good people management, the employees are happy and they would definitely love the culture and the work life balance that is being provided to that particular employee. But when you have a poor people management, the person or the employee isn't getting the credit where he needs to get the credit. There is no motivation that he gets to work more or strive more or work harder to achieve the goals. So basically, what happens here is he is just considering himself as a working robot or a machine, and the employee high employee turnover rates increases because there is no sense of bonding amongst the team that needs to be there when the team people management is good. Now, coming to the next point, lack of professional development among the employees. So, this is another important factor, and now lack of knowledge and idea sharing within the organization. These 2 points, when you're clubbing together, that is the professional development or the training that can be provided by good managers to the team, that is lacking, and the different types of knowledge and idea sharing within the organization is also cut off, with which the employee feels left alone, that the organization isn't listening to them. So these are the different factors that makes people management so important. I hope you guys have understood the importance of people management, because we have I have tried to make you understand this in a different manner, because I have told you the problems that can be avoided if the people management was pretty good. Hope you guys have understood. All right, guys. So now coming to our next module, we here be discussing how to be a people's leader. Right now, how to be an effective leader. That's what we are definitely going to discuss here. The first point that I would like to make here is learn to lead by example. Now, if your leader isn't following the things that he is preaching about, so what kind of example does that give to the people who is following him, right? So you, if you are a leader and you are telling the team to be focused, be determined, be hardworking, and you are sitting and just passing your time out, it doesn't show, or it doesn't captivate the people whom you are preaching these ideologies to actually accept it, because you need to learn to lead by example. So you need to be, as a manager, need to be focused, you need to be determined, and you should be goal driven, and only then a few amount of determination that you are showing to your work will be passed down to your subordinates, right? So learn to lead by example is one of the most key personality trait that you should have as a leader. Now, be goal oriented. So basically, we already discussed this point just now, that is, be goal oriented. You should always have a goal in your mind, always look forward to achieve that goal in the most efficient and the most quickest and the cleanest manner, so that goals can be achieved in an easy way, right? Now, take responsibility. Now you need to take the responsibilities of anything that goes wrong, anything that doesn't go in the right way. So basically, you are leading a team and there's some mishap that happened amongst the team that was created by a single individual. But instead of blaming it on that individual, you need to take up the responsibility in telling the upper hierarchy or the upper management that there was some miscommunication amongst the team which led to this mishap, and take the responsibility on yourself that this won't be repeated in the future, right? So that's a very good example or trait of a leader. Now, share the glory. Now, your team has been working on a particular project, and finally, after a huge amount of work, after months of work, you have finally been able to deliver the project on the given deadline. So, you should not take the credit as a leader. You should always share the glory amongst the team and always give the credit to the team instead of accepting the credit from the upper management. That's a very good example or a very important point that every leader that wants to be an effective leader should always consider, that you should always give or share the glory amongst your team. Now, know how to develop a team. So, your team is your strength. As a manager, you need to know how to develop a team. You need to know how to maneuver or show the direction to the team in order to build a strong team that is goal oriented, motivated, hardworking, and determined enough to achieve the goal that has been projected. Right? So, as a leader, you should always know how to develop a team, that is by maybe by team bonding, knowing each other personally, empathizing with the team, understanding the goals and motivations and personal aspirations, and then on working on together to achieve that particular single goal of the business organization. Now, coming to be a master of communication, I will reiterate the quote that I already use. A good leader is as good as he communicates. So, as a leader, he should be definitely very good at his communication. And as a matter of fact, a master of communication, that is through his words, through the words or the tone with which he communicates, he must show some authority. And with that master of communication, the subordinate who is working for him or under him must get motivated with the words he has been using. So he must be a master of communication. Now, be courageous and assertive. This is one of the most important factor that determines a leader to be effective or not. He must be effective. He must be courageous enough to take bold decision. That is, be confident as well to take bold decision. He should take a proper decision on business opportunities that are there. They should take proper stand on the conflicts that has been happening. He should be a very good problem solver. So that is another important factor that determines an effective leader. So we have already discussed about of how to be an effective leader, but there is also one ambiguity amongst people, that is the difference between a leader and a manager. Now, most of them consider both of them as equal, like both the leader and the manager can be the same. It can be the same, but there are differences between a leader and a manager, and that is what we are going to bust over here. Now, let's take up the differences in two sections. First, we'll be discussing manager, and simultaneously, we'll be discussing about the leader. Right. So, coming to the manager section, he administers and the leader innovates. So, basically, a manager, you can consider a guy with experience of managing people. So, he basically manages or administers the business processes and operations. But as a leader, he innovates, he brings the innovation into the picture while he is managing his subordinates. So that's a very big difference that is between a manager and leader. Now, coming to the second point, that is maintains and develops. So when you talk about a manager, he maintains the decorum. We can say he maintains the discipline, he maintains the decorum, he maintains the team bonding between the team members or his subordinates. But now, as a leader, he develops the team bonding. He develops each and every thing that a subordinate must have in amongst themselves to be a good team. So that's one other major difference between a manager and a leader. Now, coming to the third point, that is controls and a leader inspires. So basically, a manager, since he's been polished, he is appointed to control the people that is under him, who is working for him, working under him, and reporting to him. So he basically has to control, he has to get proper updates, he will ask for the reports, he will ask for timely deadlines, what are its reports, what are the tasks that has been accomplished. But as a leader, He leads by an example, and he inspires other subordinates who works under him and who the leader manages. He inspires them to actually do all of these tasks automatically by looking at him. With the since the leader is so much goal oriented towards his accomplishment or the goal that he wishes to accomplish, the subordinates who work under him are already inspired by him, and they complete the work on their perfect deadlines. Now, coming to the fourth point, that is short term view and leader having a long term view. Now, manager is put into a category that he thinks about the short term view, wherein the short term gains, the short term revenues. But as a leader, he has a vision and a mission that he wants to complete or accomplish. So that vision that a leader aspires to complete has a very long term view, and that would actually fetch him a huge amount of profit and returns. So that's one other major difference between a manager. That manager looks into the short term goals or short term views into picture when he is managing a team, but as a leader he looks into the long term vision and the long term mission for so that the entire team could develop with him and can fetch or reap the profits. Now, the manager and the leader has one very good phrase, that is manager do things right and leader do right things. So basically a manager is appointed to do things right. So basically he shows the direction, he shows the how the team should work, he controls, he maintains, he administers the team, and he creates a decorum and a discipline among the team for the organization to work smoothly. But as a leader, he does the right things. So basically, he innovates, he develops, he inspires, he has a long term vision and a mission that he wishes to accomplish, and he does the right things to accomplish those mission, right? So that's a very big difference, but the just the flip of the two words, that is manager do the things right and a leader do right things. So if you guys have understood the meaning of what I am telling, well and good. All right, guys. So if you have guys reached the summary part of the video, give a pat on your back, because in this section we'll be discussing what and all we had gone through, what and all modules we had gone through. We'll have a brief discussion. Before that, I would like to discuss a caselet with you regarding a people management incident that had taken place. So basically, people management won't have case studies like crisis management has a lot of case studies that I could have given examples to you. But people management is something that comes up with caselets. So basically, if you are having an account in LinkedIn, you can look into so many posts wherein a manager posts regarding his employer, and employee posts and as a point of gratitude towards his manager regarding the help that he was providing. So there's one such incident that actually that I had actually read. That was a person who was working for a company X, and he was on his notice period. So he had put in his papers and he was on his notice period. So what is happening is the notice period is for 30 days, and what happened here is the person who is actually leaving the company reports to his manager saying that I will have to end the notice period 10 day prior to my date of exit. So what actually happens here is the manager had a talk with him regarding what is the issue. So he said that his grandmother is not feeling very well, and she requires good attention, medical attention. And the manager listened to the person who is leaving the company very carefully. But then his subordinates had their own meeting, like they were talking in their back that this guy is going to leave this company 10 days earlier, and he's going to work for the another company. So he just wants to leave as soon as possible. But so the manager was negotiating with him that he will have there are many options that the manager could have given. He could have given the person to pay for the 10 days for not working, or complete all the works within the time, that is within the 20 days, and leave. And these are the so many options that he could have given. But the manager was very kind, and he actually didn't even hesitate to provide him an early exit. So he left the company 10 days prior to the date of exit. And then, so after a few days, the person who had left the company came back to the manager crying that, thank you for helping me leave the company 10 days earlier, because my grandmother had expired after a few days. So the manager who had actually given him the 10-day prior exit had a personal inner peace in himself, that the person who was leaving his company could spend 10 days of time with his grandmother before her last minutes in of life, right? So that's a very good example of people management. Now, how does this come into people management is that this incident was seen by a lot of people, and his subordinates also came to know. And that's how, when his subordinate came to know, he understood the relevance of such a caretaking manager. And this is how people actually gain trust to over the managers, that this man or this senior or this colleague of me will take care of me at the time of my crisis, and he will be there along with me, and he wouldn't hesitate enough to grant me any permissions at the time of crisis. So that's how good people management caselets that you can find on LinkedIn. There are so many caselets that you guys can find. There are caselets on women who were pregnant, and there are caselets on work from home conditions wherein wherein they came into parenthood, and how the managers helped the newly wed couples into parenthood. So there are so many caselets that you can read on LinkedIn. All right, guys. So now let's discuss briefly on what and all topics that were covered in the entire course. So first of all, we discussed what is people management, and under people management, we first understood what is management, what is the definition of management, and then further we went ahead and understood what exactly is the definition of people management. After which, we moved on to the key components of people management, where we understood the five key components, that is, create, comprehend, then communicate, collaborate, and confront. We discussed each of them individually and understood what and all does each component bring into people management. Right. Then we further moved ahead with the people management skills. So basically, here we were discussing what are the skills that is required by any senior manager or any senior managerial role positions. For example, that might be a team lead, that might be a supervisor, assistant manager, general manager, or any person who is actually having people working under him. So these are the skills that he must possess in himself, or he must build in himself, so that the people management could be more effective and the productivity of the people could be increased. So that's what we discussed over here. And then we went to the next topic, that is where we understood what is the importance of people management, what and all can be avoided, what and all issues can be avoided when there is proper people management. Now, then after which we came to the topic where we understood how to be the people's leader, that is, how to be an effective leader. We understood by the all the points that is mentioned over here, that is, learn to lead by example, be goal oriented, be an example who is an inspiring example for other subordinates. So that's how you become an effective leader. Then we busted the ambiguity amongst the people, that is, what is the difference between leader and a manager. So there were so much confusion that whether the leader and the manager is the same. So we came to a conclusion that both the terms are different, but a manager can be a leader also, and a leader can be a manager as well, but the terms are different. And the differences were clearly mentioned, that what and all a manager does and what all the leader does, right? So with that, we came to the end of the course. I hope you guys had a good learning journey with me. I am Edwin Thomas, and I will be back with another course very soon.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new update or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoyed this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video for any query or suggestions, and I will respond to your comments.